Exam Scholar, Real Estate Edition.
Question 1. Real property includes A. Stocks and bonds. B. Mineral rights. C. Water rights. D. None of these. Answer. D. Real property refers to land. Land, in its general usage, includes not only the face of the earth but everything of a permanent nature over or under it. This includes structures and minerals. Stock, bonds, and mineral and water rights are not land. Question 2. Chattel real is interest of a lessee and is A. Personal property. B. Real property. C. Undivided interest. D. None of these. Answer. A. Real property is also called chattel real and is a lessee's interest in a property, among other interests. Question 3. In terms of property ownership, the cost of a fence is considered A. Real property. B. A capital improvement. C. A capital gain. D. A depreciated gain. Answer. B. The construction of a fence would be considered a capital improvement. The value is depreciated over time for tax purposes. Question 4. Population, employment, and demographics are all examples of influencers of what for a commodity? A. Supply. B. Demand. C. Price. D. None of these. Answer. B. Demographics of a population, the rate of employment of a population, and the number of people in that population all are contributing factors to the demand of a commodity. Question 5. If a new well was built on a property, the county assessor would consider this what in regards to taxes? A. Personal property. B. Improvements. C. Depreciation. D. None of these. Answer. B. The county tax assessor would consider a new well to be an improvement on real property. Question 6. Demand for property requires what two factors of the populace to be effective? A. Desire and means. B. Desire and supply. C. Desire and vision. D. None of these. Answer. A. In order for demand to be effective, the population must not only have the desire but also the financial means to purchase property. Question 7. If George has an 85% interest in a property while Ernie has a 15% interest in the same property, which right is equal? A. Possession. B. Liquidation. C. Survivorship. D. Economical. Answer. Regardless of any percentage of interest in a property, all owners have equal rights of possession. Question 8. An appraisal process that is a method of establishing the value of income-type properties is called A. Conversion. B. Book value. C. Capitalization. D. Accrual. Answer. C. Capitalization is an appraisal process that establishes the value of income-type properties by converting net income into market value. Question 9. What type of clause, if written into a loan, gives secondary position to that loan if another loan is recorded at a later date? A. Alienation. B. Convergence. C. Subrogation. D. Subordination. Answer. D. A subordination clause gives secondary position to that loan if another loan is recorded at a later date. Question 10. Assessment bonds are used by the county to pay for what in a subdivision? A. Street lights, curbs, sewers, and other needs. B. Wages of the tax collectors. C. Environmental impact reports. D. Emission controls and limits enforcement. Answer. A. Street lights, curbs, sewers, and other special considerations are paid for by assessment bonds. Sometimes homeowners will pay back these bonds depending on their benefit to their property.
Passing the real estate exam can be hard, like really hard. Statistically, only about 50% of people actually pass the real estate exam on their first try. Those people that pass, they go on to become real estate agents. And the people that didn't pass, they either give up completely or have to try again. Both of these options are painful, disappointing, and upsetting. Exam Scholar Real Estate Edition has been named as the best real estate exam prep by multiple publications for 7 years in a row. If you are about to take the real estate exam, Exam Scholar Real Estate Edition is a no-brainer choice. There is no other real estate exam preparation service out there that comes close. To enjoy the longest membership time, lowest cost, real estate videos, audios, articles, flashcards, vocabulary, exam tips and tricks, a 1-year no questions asked refund policy, and be one of the 35,000 people that it has helped pass the real estate exam, then sign up in less than 5 minutes at www.realestateexamscholar.com.
Question 1. What is a realtor? A. A real estate agent. B. A real estate broker. C. A voluntary member of NAR. D. A voluntary member of NRA. Answer. C. The National Association of Realtors is an organization that, if joined by an agent or broker, allows that they can designate themselves as a realtor. There is a fee to join. Question 2. When all the papers are drawn up correctly and everything is ready for the final steps to close the escrow, which typically includes recording the deed, the escrow is called A. Complete. B. Ready. C. Finalized. D. Totaled. Answer. A. A complete escrow includes all the properly prepared paperwork and is ready to close the escrow. Question 3. Government surveys use sections, townships, and ranges to describe what about land? A. Location. B. Size. C. Boundaries. D. Acreage. Answer. A. Out of all the answer choices given, location is the most correct. The government surveys use sections, townships, and ranges to determine location of land. Question 4. In government surveys of land, why is meets and bounds used? A. To determine location. B. To determine outlines of a certain area. C. To determine contour lines. D. To determine fault line boundaries. Answer. B. The government surveys of land use meets and bounds to determine the outlines of a certain area. Question 5. If an appurtenant easement is not mentioned in the deed to a newly sold property, which is correct? A. The appurtenant easement runs with the land. B. The appurtenant easement terminates. C. The appurtenant easement reverts to the owners of the other property. D. The appurtenant easement converts to an encumbered interest. Answer. A. An appurtenant easement runs with the land no matter if it is mentioned in the deed or not. Question 6. What is a conduit? A. A metal pipe. B. Wiring. C. A connector. D. None of these? Answer. A conduit is a metal pipe that wires pass through in the electrical wiring of a house. Question 7. Value of a property is most directly influenced by A. Location, B. Zoning, C. Size, D. Shape. Answer: A. The most important factor that affects the value of a property is its location. The other answers do affect the value, but in a diminished way comparatively. Question 8. A fence, a separate detached garage, and a septic tank are all examples of A. Appurtenances, B. Easements, C. Personal property, D. Real property. Answer: A. Appurtenances are those things that are attached to the piece of land so that they become part of the land as it is passed to new owners. A fence, garage, and a septic tank are all examples of appurtenances. Question 9. How many acres are in a section? A. 640, B. 420, C. 740, D. 624. Answer: A. A section contains 640 acres. Question 10. How many acres are in a township? A. 640, B. 1000, C. 280, D. 23,040. Answer: D. A township contains 36 sections. Each section contains 640 acres. Thus, 640 by 36 equals 23,040 acres. Question 1. A salesperson receives an offer from a buyer who has no cash but offers a deposit of $500 in the form of personal note payable in 30 days. A. This is unacceptable since a deposit must be in cash or a check. B. The form of deposit is immaterial as long as the $500 figure appears on the deposit receipt. C. A salesperson may accept a personal note as deposit if he advises the seller of this prior to acceptance. D. A salesperson may accept a note if made in favor of the broker to handle expenses. Answer: C. It is perfectly all right for the salesperson to accept a personal note as a deposit, but this must be disclosed to the seller before the acceptance of the offer. Question 2. Collecting rents, fixing up the property and showing vacant units are the types of responsibilities that would be assumed by A. A broker, B. A resident property manager, C. A salesman, D. An attorney at law. Answer: B. These are the types of things that a resident property manager does. Question 3. A person who has been given the right to act on behalf of another is known as A. Affiant, B. Attorney in fact, C. Executor, D. Principal. Answer: B. The power of attorney is the piece of paper and the one with the right to act is the attorney in fact. Question 4. A prudent lender would take into consideration which of the following before issuing a loan? A. Borrower's ability to pay, B. The market value of the property that is the security for the loan, C. Current economic trends, D. All of the above. Answer: D. The lender would consider all aspects of the loan as mentioned in choices 1, 2, and 3. Question 5. Which of the following represents a gross misrepresentation by an agent? A. His representation is an obvious falsehood. B. His representation is made with a knowledge of the falsehood. C. His representation caused the aggrieved party to enter into the contract. D. All of the above. Answer. D. All of these are examples of gross misrepresentation by an agent. Question 6. The relationship between effective and nominal interest is that A. Effective interest is what the buyer pays, nominal interest is what is named in the loan application. B. Effective interest is what the buyer pays, nominal interest is what is named in the advertising. C. Effective interest is what the buyer pays, nominal interest is what is specified in the note. D. There is no difference. Answer. C. Effective rate is the actual interest rate paid by the borrower. Nominal rate is the interest rate specified in the note. Question 7. In assessing the profitability of a real estate office, the broker must consider desk cost. Which best describes how to calculate desk cost? A. Calculate the cost of all the desks. B. Calculate the gross profit for the office, less the expenses, divide by the number of desks. C. Divide the total cost of rent, utilities and advertising by the number of desks. D. Divide the total operating expenses of the office, including salaries, rent, insurance, etc., by the number of desks. Answer. D. Desk cost is the total cost of operating expenses of an office divided by the number of desks in the real estate office. Question 8. Under some loans covered under the Federal Truth in Lending Law, the borrower has a right to rescind the loan. The right to rescind is A. 3 days. B. 5 days. C. 10 days. D. 14 days. Answer. A. On loans where the personal residence is used as security, other than the first trust deed used to purchase the property, the borrower has 3 days to rescind. Question 9. A property is not listed for sale. A person who wants the property executes an offer to purchase it through a real estate agent and gives the broker a $5,000 check as a deposit. The broker A. Can accept the check on behalf of the property owner provided he presents the offer directly to the seller as the seller's agent. B. Cannot accept the check. C. Can accept the check as the exclusive agent of the buyer. D. None of the above. Answer. C. You can accept the check as exclusive agent for the buyer, but you have no listing with the seller. Question 10. The economic life of an improvement as compared to the physical life is usually A. Longer. B. Shorter. C. The same. D. Depends on the type of improvement. Answer. D. Most houses are torn down before they fall down. When a house cannot be used for rental income or residential purposes, it no longer has any economic worth and is generally torn down. Question 1. If a minority person is looking to purchase a home and the lender refuses to lend to them based on their creditworthiness, this is A. Legal. B. Racial profiling. C. An example of blockbusting. D. Illegal. Answer. A. A lender is not required to lend to any person that does not meet the requirements of creditworthiness. Question 2. When a real estate developer obtains a loan for building a new housing tract and the lender gives part of the funds to the developer and agrees to release the rest of the funds as each home is built, this is called which type of financing? A. Earnest money. B. Fixed amount. C. Obligatory. D. Chronological release. Answer. C. In this type of situation, this financing is called obligatory financing or also called fixed disbursement schedule. Question 3. A reconveyance deed is used in connection with A. A life estate sale. V. A trust deed sale. C. A valid transfer of ownership in any property. D. None of these. Answer. B. A reconveyance deed is used in connection with a trust deed sale by a trustee to a trustor after a loan has been paid in full. Question 4. In order to form a valid contract, which is not necessary? A. Performance. B. Consideration. C. Offer. D. Acceptance. Answer. A. Even though an offer has been placed, the offer accepted, and consideration put forth, there is no guarantee that either party will perform the obligations of the contract. Performance is not a necessary part of forming a contract. Question 5. In regards to contracts, if part of a contract is written and another part is printed, which part takes preference? A. The typed part. B. The written part. C. None. Contracts must be typed. D. They are both equal. Answer. B. If part of a contract is written and another part is typed, the written part takes preference over printed parts. Question 6. If a contract is written and parts are incomplete or ambiguous, what type of agreement takes preference? A. An oral agreement. B. A new typed agreement. C. A new written agreement. D. None of these. Answer. In this case, if a contract is written or typed but is ambiguous or incomplete, an oral agreement then takes preference. This is true only if the original contract is ambiguous or incomplete. Question 7. If a person wishes to obtain a chattel mortgage, they would need to put up A. Personal property as collateral. B. Another property as collateral. C. Any type of property as collateral. D. None of these. Answer. A. A chattel mortgage is a mortgage that is secured by personal property. Question 8. A real estate broker is typically considered A. An agent or fiduciary of the principal. B. An attorney in fact. C. To have the power of attorney. D. None of these. Answer. A. A real estate broker is typically considered an agent or fiduciary of the principal. A broker does not have power of attorney unless the principal grants him/her that right. Question 9. If a broker notifies a seller, of whom the broker is working with by means of listing, of a prospective buyer, this creates what to entitle the broker to a commission. A. Procuring cause. B. Prior notice. C. Fiduciary relationship. D. Accelerated notice. Answer. A. If a broker notifies a seller of the identity of a prospective buyer of a listed property of a client the broker is working with, this constitutes procuring cause. If the seller were to then go to the prospective buyer later without the broker's knowledge and make a deal, the broker would still get the commission due because the broker was the procurement source of the buyer. Question 10. The bulk sales law is included in A. The habendum clause. B. The caveat emptor clause. C. The Uniform Commercial Code. D. The governing laws of commerce. Answer. C. The Uniform Commercial Code includes the bulk sales law. Bulk sales laws are intended to prevent business owners from defrauding or evading creditors by transferring all, or a substantial portion, of the assets of the business to another individual or entity. The law is also intended to avert the possibility of businesses selling their assets below fair market value in a sweetheart sale, in which the owner of the business manages to maintain a degree of control. Question 1. If the expiration of time has passed in regards to the communication of acceptance by the seller from the buyer, this offer is considered A. Terminated. B. Valid. C. No longer an offer. D. None of these. Answer A. One way to terminate an offer from a buyer by a seller is to let the time expire on terms of acceptance. Question 2. In real estate, the offer to perform on the terms agreed is called A. Tender. B. Performance. C. Negotiated. D. Acceptance. Answer A. An offer by one of the parties to a real estate transaction to carry out that party's part of the contract is called the tender. This typically takes place at the end of the transaction. Question 3. If one party cannot perform their part of the agreed terms of a contract, the victim party can claim the other party. A. Performed negligently. B. Defaulted. C. Is voiding the contract. D. Is causing interference. Answer B. If a party cannot perform their part of the agreed terms of a contract, the other party can claim the other party defaulted. Question 4. If a party was discriminated against, they could A. Bring private action through a state or federal court. B. Bring criminal action through a state court. C. Bring criminal action through a federal court. D. Bring civil action through a state court. Answer A. Because discrimination is not considered a criminal act, the option of the party would be to bring private action through a state or federal court. Question 5. If a buyer of a property wishes to move into the newly purchased home before the close of escrow, the agent/broker should A. Allow it. B. Deny it. C. Obtain written consent from the owner. D. None of these. Answer C. Because the home has not closed escrow, it is still owned by the current owner and therefore the agent/broker must obtain written consent to allow the new buyer to move in before the close of escrow. Question 6. A legal cause of action in which a binding agreement or bargain for exchange is not honored by one or more of the parties to the contract by non-performance or interference with the other party's performance is known as A. Breach. B. Non-disclosure. C. Voidable. D. None of these. Answer A. Breach of contract is when one party does not honor the agreed upon terms of a contract by non-performance or interference with the other party's performance. Question 7. A clause that states a lender may demand the loan amount plus accrued interest in the event of a sale is called A. Addendum. B. Non-performance. C. Acceleration. D. Alienation. Answer D. The clause in which a lender may call in the loan plus accrued interest in the event of a sale is known as alienation. This is different than an acceleration clause in which the loan can be called in due to non-performance of contractual duties, such as not paying mortgage payments. Question 8. What type of arrangement is a less than freehold estate? A. Owner/tenant. B. Tenant/sublessee. C. Lessor/sublessor. D. None of these. Answer A. A less than freehold estate is an owner/tenant arrangement. Question 9. If an as-is clause is inserted into the sales contract for a property that seems to be generally okay on the outside and inside, this would be A. allowed. B. Disallowed. C. Allowed only in cases of obvious defects. D. None of these. Answer C. The only way an as-is clause is allowed in most situations is if there are obvious defects that any prudent person could discover. Typically, they are disallowed by the real estate commissioner to protect consumers. Question 10. If one is transferring or conveying title to real property, it is called A. Alienation. B. Alluvion. C. Accretion. D. Succession. Answer A. The term alienate in real estate means to convey or transfer.
Exam Scholar, Real Estate Edition.